bow our heads for a word of prayer. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We ask you to bless us forward and give us the knowledge and wisdom to make the appropriate decisions for everyone. We ask you to watch over our county. We ask you to guide us and help us tonight, hopefully with the weather. We ask you to continue prayers for Commissioner Gould. These things we ask in Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Harville. Here. Mr. Pitts. Here. Mr. Miller. Here. Mr. Bierstadt. Here. Mr. Gould.
Item of forum, I'll call the meeting to order. First item, approval of minutes, regular meeting February 25th. Everybody had a chance to look at those. Any deletions or additions?
I'll make a motion to accept.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Harville.
Yes.
Commissioner Pitts.
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Commissioner Bierstadt.
Yes.
Public comments. One of these days, Josh, I have something to say. Committee reports.
Well, Max, we had our last meeting for the Southern Five Regional Planning and Development Commission, the 11th, which was just the other day. And two things that came up that may be interesting to this board is, number one, they're still working on the small equipment grant for the town of Ware Wolf Lake for the fire department up there. And also they just announced, and this is very early on, it's up to $350,000 grant for fire station construction and rehab. And Ware Wolf Lake has expressed an interest in maybe getting some of that grant money, so that would be up to $350,000 for that. And our next meeting is April 8th at 5:30 in downtown Owen, Illinois. Well, actually the suburbs. You're all welcome.
Anyone else?
Yeah, Animal Control, our numbers are up as far as dogs go. We're still in the need for kibbles and bits and monetary, donations. We are doing cleanup around there, pushing them old buildings down and cleaning it up, so maybe some days weather fares up, we'll have a grand opening, looking nice around there. And it is looking nice out there now. Looking good. We've all done a good job out there.
Our Southern 7 next meeting, it'll be on Thursday, the 27th of this month.
Very good, thank you, gentlemen. Building permits.
Yeah, I have two. I have parcel number 0114000117A. It's a new single-family home, no subdivision, no floodplain. Recommend approval. And then the second one is 4170229BA. It's a new garage, no floodplain, no subdivision. Recommend approval.
I looked down last time online.
Yeah, you too.
Any questions, building permits? Motion to approve.
Make motion to approve.
I'll second.
I second.
Commissioner Harville.
Yes.
Mr. Pitts.
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Mr. Bierstadt.
Yes.
Old business intergovernmental agreement with the village of Dongola and Union County, Illinois to render assistance to the village of Dongola road maintenance. We lacked this last meeting when we went through all of them. Any questions on that? I make a motion we approve the intergovernmental agreement between the village of Dongola, Illinois and Union County, Illinois to render assistance to the village of Dongola road maintenance.
I'll second it.
Commissioner Harville?
Yes.
Mr. Pitts?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Bierstadt?
Yes.
New business, approved payment of bills. Everybody have a little chance to look at the bill list. Any questions?
I make a motion to pay your bills.
I'll second it.
Commissioner Harville?
Yes.
Mr. Pitts?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Bierstadt?
Yes.
Next item, certificate authority by vote. Amy, you got anything to add to
This
this?
is just, a new requirement that, IDOT has, for, basically you giving me the authority to enter into, joint agreements or contracts with IDOT. And they have to have this on file so that I can go in and put in our allotment request for the salt purchase. And then execute the contract after the salt contract is awarded at the end. So it's just, giving me authorization to enter into the contract for the joint salt purchase every year. And I don't think it has to be done every year, I just think it has to be done once.
Any questions? Make a motion to approve the certificate of authority by vote for the highway department. Thank you, Ferris.
I'll second it.
Commissioner Harville?
Yes.
Mr. Pitts?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Bierstadt?
Yes.
Next item, resolution appointing commissioner of the Alto Pass Water District. They're asking to reappoint Greg Robertson for a term expiring May 6, 2030. Anybody have any questions or problems with that?
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Commissioner Harville?
Yes.
Mr. Pitts?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Bierstadt?
Yes.
Okay, this is a kind of an annual deal here. The next several items with redeploy. First item is the redeploy DHS application and budget. I'll let you take over.
Okay, well, thank you for allowing me to go over this today. I'm gonna make it short and sweet because the majority of us know what redeploy is. But I will just remind you, I'm the program director for the First Circuit. My name is Becky Pierce. Redeploy seeks to decrease incarceration and provide intervention to youth within the First Circuit rather than sending them to IDJJ. And our success is based on multiple factors. How many youth are sent to IDJJ in the year within the First Circuit? How many youth we serve based on the grant numbers that we write the previous year? A few things like that, which I'll get into in the end. I have for you guys just a simple budget summary. So the very first page is everything that's categorized together. I'm just gonna quickly flip through, and this is very similar to last year's budget. There are not many changes. We are bringing on a new subcontractor who will work with youth in Carbondale, but that's really our only change this year. So on your second page, you have personnel costs. So that's for myself, Julia Hayward, who's the client care coordinator, and Heather Carter, who's the engagement specialist. We brought Heather on this past year. She started at the end of August, the beginning of September, and she has really taken off and done super, super well, and we're so glad to have brought her on. She will make first contact with the youth when they're referred to our program and complete the assessments that are needed in the beginning that our subcontractors were previously doing. And we weren't having good turnaround times, which is why we decided to bring her on, so we could have better turnaround times and get the youth started quicker to try and help with the courts and the probation officers and get them seen quickly before their next hearing. And she's done very well, and I think we've had a big improvement with that. Your next page is the fringe benefits, which include the health insurance coverage, taxes, and IMRF collection. And just to let you know, the new contract starts July 1st, and it will end June 30th of next year. So this is all being set up for beginning July 1st. This also includes vision and life insurance, dental, unemployment, workers' compensation from the mentioned dates. The next page, we have our travel budget. This is for traveling to clients' houses, court. Every year, 2 times a year, we have something at Bloomington, Illinois, called All Sites, where all the redeploy sites in the whole state meet together, go over changes and upcoming grants. So that's labeled in under the director mileage. It's about 510 miles round trip is usually what we end up getting reimbursed for. But this is also for the client care coordinator and engagement specialist to travel to break family engagements, to travel to purchase clothing, court, anything that we would be traveling to. The next page is our supplies, which is just our office supplies. That includes binders, paper clips, paper, cartridges, toners, client file creation. We also have to keep a hard copy on each client, as well as one in the computer. So that's supplies that go towards that. We also add a little bit of extra funds in there just in case we have laptop issues, docking station issues, keyboard and mouse. It's pretty expensive if you're not planning on those expenses, and we've been in that position before, so we just try to plan ahead for them, about 1 a year, which you'll see in here also. Your next page is our contractual services. These are the current contracts that we will be working with in the upcoming fiscal year. So these, instead of going through every single one, because each one offers something a little bit different, all of them together combined offer something a little bit different, like Choices Counseling offers sex offender treatment. But they all offer individual counseling and try to reduce recidivism for our youth. But this includes individual counseling, wraparound models, we have online anger management classes, sex offender treatment and evaluations, outpatient substance use, psychological evaluations, fitness evaluations. We have a private transport company, which is Advanced Transportation, who will take our youth all over the county, or actually the circuit for us. And then this is also, we have a supply closet and an incentive closet, which the youth can get toiletries, school supplies, school clothes, things of that nature from. We bundle that into services provided. It's not involved in the contractual amount, but we'll talk about that in just a minute. The next page that you see is a breakdown of how many youth will be served per subcontractor and why we come up with that total, if you'd like to look over that. We have a redeploy office here in Anna, so the next page is occupancy. He has us at $950 a month, and that is not in, he pays the bills, like the utility services and stuff like that. So this is $11,400 for the whole fiscal year. The next page is our telecom. So this includes Julia and Heather's cell phones, our Mayor Network's privacy feed, the security cameras that we have up at the office, and our Frontier Internet. The next page is training and education. This includes the Kids, Courts, and Schools Conference that we assist the Second Circuit with putting on each year. It has been changed this year to October, but it's hosted by Redeploy Illinois and the Illinois Juvenile Justice Councils, and we host a one-day conference that offers information, insight, and continuing education credits for anyone that's involved in education, prevention, treatment, children that are at risk for abuse, neglect or delinquency, as well as young offenders. So anybody that's in the community that works with this community and these youth are welcome to attend. The next page is the miscellaneous cost. Like I said just a second ago, we have a supply and incentive closet, and this is where that comes out of. And it's incentive supplies and marketing. This also includes phones and phone cards for the youth who do not have phones, GED testing and school supports, gas cards, and client and family engagement. So there's a small breakdown at the bottom, what each of those entail and how much we set aside for those. We come up with this line item to try to help the youth and their families so they don't have excuses that they can't get a hold of us because they don't have a phone or they don't have gas for their vehicle. So we wanted to take those barriers out of the way, and we offer these things to them so that they don't have an excuse to not show up to probation or show up to court or their counseling sessions. Sometimes that still happens, even though these things are provided, but we try to take out that barrier the best that we can. The last page is the indirect costs. So this is 10% of each subcontractor or each line item that we have that does not include the occupancy. So this is what the county will receive for managing the grant, and there is a total of $41,741, and it has a breakdown of what we would receive from each individual line item. And then that's the very end of the budget. Just to let you guys know, whenever I became program director, we were serving about 45 youth totally. This past year, we put that we wanted to serve 85. At the end of January, we have served 88. So our program is continuing to grow exponentially. And so this upcoming fiscal year, we're working with a few new financial changes. We're now at level funding, which means we can't ask for just so much more than we did the previous year. We have to take what we have and split it up individually throughout each line item and try to come up with our own ways that we're not going to affect taking anything away from the kids, but at the same time, not getting rid of any of the services either, which is why we don't have much of an increase from last year. But I'm hoping that if I can explain why we need these funds and show them how many kids we're serving compared to just 3 and 4 years ago, that it shouldn't be a problem. But I don't think that it will be, and I think we'll continue trudging on and serving the kids.
And unfortunately, your numbers are growing
They are,
every year.
yes, they truly are.
It's a great program. I know everybody appreciates what you do. It's a sad state that the numbers keep going up,
Yes.
but that's part of the world we live in, unfortunately.
Part of that also is when I first came on, we didn't accept certain clients or certain age groups. So we have kids that we consider diversion that's like a minimal crime or like a minimal charge, and they try to keep them out of the court system and just try to put them in services before really going all out with charges and stuff like that. So we've taken on diversion, and Williamson County sends us a lot of diversion cases. We see the most amount of referrals from Union, Saline, Williamson, and Jackson, but a lot of those have been diversion, which is good because then we can catch them younger at least, what word am I looking for? Least aggressive crime, if you will. So maybe theft or rather than battery or gun charge or sex crime. So I think that's a part of the growing numbers also, but each year's a little bit different.
Can you give us some kind of a success rate in your program?
I don't have a percentage success rate, and there's a few ways that we measure success. So the youth served, we want to say that we served 85 kids, and that we overpassed that number by having 88, and it doesn't end until June. Another success rate is youth who graduate probation and the program successfully at one time. So I have a quarterly report that I send to the state of Illinois, and it goes off of who was discharged, what clients were discharged in those 3 months. And usually we'll average about 6 or 7 clients who are discharged, and maybe 2 or 3 of them at the most are usually unsuccessful. And this could be also that they're non-compliant, moved out of the area before they got involved in services, but it's very, were they compliant or were they not? There's not an in-between, we just have to label them one or the other. Or there's some months, depending on what clients we're serving, how old they are, what kind of trouble they're in, what their recidivism looks like, that sometimes sadly we cannot get a hold of, and we cannot get them involved in services, or we can't get their family involved and willing to bring them or work with us on getting them involved, and those are usually unsuccessful also. And that's where some of the non-compliance comes from, is uninvolved families, and
It's always a good thing to see some light at the end of the tunnel.
it
you
is,
know?
yeah, it is. I wish that we had 100% success rate, but sadly we don't, and that's also dependent on not just the youth. So, Tyler sees it all the time. As far as redeploy, he knows sometimes we have really great ones that we're so excited they graduated, they decided to stay and redeploy a little bit longer because they were benefiting, and then there's some that we can't even get a hold of to do the first assessment, and no one can get a hold of them. So it's all over the board truly, but we also want to base our success off of decreased incarcerations. And since redeploy started, which there were sites before ours, and our site started in 2014, but since then, the incarcerations into IDJJ are down, way down. I mean, thousands of incarcerations. The numbers look really good. Any other questions?
Anybody? Very good.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate what you do.
Thank
very
you.
much.
Good job.
All right, moving on. The next several items pertain to this. We have to, as we do every year, each individual subcontractor, we have to approve their agreement, so we'll go through these. The first one is a subcontract with Centerstone. Anybody have any questions? Again, we do this every year, so it's.
Make a motion. I'll second that.
Commissioner Harville?
Yes.
Mr. Pitts?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Bierstadt?
Yes.
Item F, redeploy subcontract agreement, Stress and Trauma Treatment Center.
I'll make a motion to accept. I'll second that.
Commissioner Harville?
Yes.
Mr. Pitts?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Bierstadt?
Yes.
Item G, redeploy subcontract agreement with Egyptian Health Department.
I'll make a motion to accept. I'll second that.
Commissioner Harville?
Yes.
Mr. Pitts?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Bierstadt?
Yes.
H, redeploy subcontract Jewel Psychological Services.
I'll make a motion to accept. I'll second that.
Commissioner Harville?
Yes.
Mr. Pitts?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Bierstadt?
Yes.
Redeploy subcontract agreement Advanced Transportation.
I'll make a motion. Second that.
Commissioner Harville?
Yes.
Mr. Pitts?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Bierstadt?
Yes.
J, redeploy subcontract agreement Choice Counseling.
I'll make a motion to accept. Second that.
Commissioner Harville?
Yes.
Mr. Pitts?
Yep.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Bierstadt?
Yes.
Last, redeploy subcontract agreement Progressive Life Counseling LLC.
I'll make a motion to accept. I'll second that.
Mr. Harville?
Yes.
Mr. Pitts?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Bierstadt?
Yes.
Very good.
Good job.
The continued good work. Hopefully your workload gets less.
Rats?
I have a bunch.
You?
I'll look you up.
All right, I don't think we have anything for executive session unless somebody's hiding something. Other business?
Well, I would like to mention, the meeting before last, we was talking about the road signs and how they were disappearing. Well, anyway, it's continuing. Have you had a chance to look to see if there's any alternative signs out there made of other materials?
I have not found anything, no.
I've been looking myself,
Uh-huh.
and I'm like you, I haven't found, like I said, I just started looking, but I have not found any other facility that produces a laminated wooden sign or a plastic sign. And so I think that that would really be a direction maybe we could go in if we could find someplace that has them, you know. And it would really be nice if we could find plastic signs that's made out of recycled plastics. So we could keep that plastic material out of the landfills and give him a market. You know, I know this is kind of out of left field, but how many road signs do you think are in America?
Oh, gosh.
You know, street signs, road signs, highway signs.
I don't think it matters what it's made out of. They want the sign, they want the sign.
Well, those are.
They steal them based on a road, they steal them based on a name, so it really doesn't matter what the sign is made out of.
But those are the collectors. So you have collectors and then you have people who are stealing for the material, for the aluminum. And so, yeah, if they were made out of plastic, a lot of them wouldn't probably steal them because there is no value in plastic to resell it. And what I'm getting at is there are probably millions and millions and millions of road signs in America, street signs in cities and things like that. And if we could find a company that actually makes signs from recycled plastics, we could do two things at one time. We could keep that material from going into landfills and create jobs, and also keep our road signs where they belong on the road. So, you know, I'm gonna keep looking.
Guys, I sent you an email, made a pretty big announcement that I will be stepping down as county clerk. I've taken a new job. That doesn't take away what, you know, I'm excited about my new opportunity and everything, but it comes at a cost of having to walk away from this and you all in here, and that's tough. I'm not leaving because I didn't love this job. I can promise you that. That'll be something tough, and change is tough. I've made a recommendation to Stephanie Cox to take my spot. I've worked alongside her before in the Chamber of Commerce. She's been at the bank for a long time. She's very excited about this opportunity. I highly recommend her to fill my spot. Of course, that's up to you guys, but I think those of you who know her, or she's very talented and will do an excellent job as well. But I can do nothing but thank you guys for everything, and that's everybody in here. And even, you know, Angie's not here, but big thank you to her as well, if she's listening. There was a lot of work, and some of you guys have been here the whole time with me, and I think you'd seen what we've done with that office, and without your all's help and teamwork, I wouldn't have been able to do that. I'm very proud of the work that we've done in that office. I'm very proud of the way we've pushed that office along, and again, it's hard to walk away. I want you all to know that, but at the same time, it's the right move for me and my family at this point, and nothing that I won't take any of this experience to take away from one of the best jobs of my life, to be honest. And I'm going to miss everybody, but I hope to be around. I'm going to help Stephanie a lot with the transition, make sure she's well suited and everything's taken care of for her and you guys and the county as a whole. I don't want to leave a hole for anybody or anything hard. So there's a lot to that office. Help her out. There's a lot to learn, and we'll make it as smooth as we can. And my last day will be April the 4th. Gets us through this election, so make sure that I wanted to do that. I wanted to make sure to get through this election, because that's hard to throw anybody in, but she's wanting to come on. She can actually come in here and work beside me for a week and a half or so, if you guys allow that as well. I highly recommend that, because she gets to see an election, get to see, and I get to work with her on a daily basis there for a while, and at least get her feet wet. So again, thank you all for everything. It wasn't an easy decision, but at the end of the day, it's the right one, and I hate to leave in a middle of a term type thing. That wasn't my intention. Honestly, I always planned on staying here, but this just kind of came to. I couldn't pass it up, and again, it was not an easy decision, but at the end of the day, it's the right one to go on. And I'm excited for a new challenge with that. So, again, thank everybody.
Thank you, Lance. Appreciate it. And speaking of that further, I've signed the letters and sent out to both parties, which we're required to do, making this announcement. I would like to, if everybody's available, or at least three of you, and three of us, schedule a special meeting Monday at 10 a.m. to make an appointment to fulfill this seat for the remainder of the term. So that's what we're going to schedule. So that's the procedure we go through, and so forth. We'll take a vote then on who the successor will be. So, anybody got any questions or concerns?
No, just appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
So we'll tentatively, we got to give 48 hours notice, so we need to go ahead and schedule this so we can stay on track and get to do whatever it is in here for a week and a half or so to shadow Lance.
It'll be on Monday, the 17th.
Monday the 17th.
At 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
Okay.
Anybody have anything else?
Our e-citation program is moving forward. Hoping to be set up first of next month. We're training on it next week. Programs are on our computers, on some of the computers throughout the county. The ones that came in here had them set up. They're in most of the cars. They're in all our cars. They're in most of everybody else's cars. So excited about this program. That's a program I talked about 2 or 3 months ago, maybe longer than that. That every time there's a site that is money that didn't come from my budget or your guys' dollars. It was money that was set aside to the e-citation program through the state. It came from Carrie's office. That's the money that we had, or that's what we could do with the money. It is the printers and the programming and whatever else. So that's going forward, so we can write citations from the car, save us money on paper tickets. And it's all our, from our accident reports to our tow reports to everything else is going to be aligned to this. So I'm happy to see this finally take off.
Anybody else?
The new antenna tower's been installed behind the ambulance service. This replaces the tower that fell in August, and then the previous ESTA tower. They're finalizing, doing some cleanup work on wiring right now. And yesterday we took delivery of the new rescue truck. It's sitting by the ambulance office right now if anyone wants to take a look at it.
Counselor, you got anything?
Nothing exciting.
Cool. Lee?
I'll miss Lance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are pretty easy shoes to fill though. So.
That was her. She's the only one that said it.
I do have some for Angela back there in the back real quick. Have you had a chance to check into the area back yet for the employees of the county?
No, I have not.
I just curious.
Okay, I'll let you know as soon as I do.
All right, get a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
I'll see.
Commissioner Harville?
Yes.
Mr. Pitts?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Bierstead?
Yes.
94.